Well, we're here today to talk about Robert Gooch. We're going to call him Bob because that's what everybody does. Bob, born in Eureka, General Hospital, graduated from Eureka High in 1967. 3 days later, he left for the Marine Corps. Bob Gooch is a Marine through and through. When he bleeds Marine Corps blood. Bob Gooch. After he graduated boot camp, he went on to Infantry Training Regiment in Camp Pendleton, leaving San Diego for a short period of time. Bob would see 3 tours in Vietnam. In November of 1967, as a 19-year-old young Lance Corporal, while on a return patrol, he would receive wounds to his back, legs, and his derriere. He'd be medevaced out to Japan for a couple months and then return to active duty back in country. And then on August the 25th, 1969, as a sergeant, during Operation Allen Brook in Quang Tri Province, Sergeant Gooch was forward deployed on a special mission. On that day, he would be wounded twice. In the morning, he would be wounded by shrapnel, and he would refuse to be medevaced because he wanted to stay with the rest of his Marines. Later that day, he would sustain life-threatening injuries to his back, and he would be medevaced to a bunch of different places, starting with the hospital ship USS Repose, then on to Japan, then Walter Reed, and finally Oak Knoll Hospital in Oakland. After 9 months, most of it in a body cast, he would refuse a medical discharge and was returned to duty. In all, Bob would be wounded 3 times. After receiving his 3rd Purple Heart, he would be removed from being forward deployed in a hostile environment for 5 years due to Marine Corps policy. With his luck, that was probably a good thing. Bob has been quoted as saying, "I thought they were saying stand up instead of shut up." So, after that, the Marine Corps looks for their very best non-commissioned officers to become drill instructors to train other Marines. Well, it's no surprise that they would pick Bob. So off to drill instructor school and off to being a drill instructor. It is probably one of the highest honors that any Marine can have, is to be selected to train recruits. Because the history and the traditions of the Marine Corps are pretty special. And it takes a pretty special person to be able to lead them and teach them and train them how to take care of themselves and their fellow Marines. Bob Gooch. Well, after that, another tough job that the Marines look for their best in, and that's recruiting. Because not just anybody can be a Marine. It's a tough, tough service. And the requirements to get in are tough. And it takes someone to be able to get out there and figure out who those great men and women are that'll be the future of the Marine Corps. Well, it's no secret that they came back to a special Marine, Bob Gooch. So he did a great job, and off he went after that, back to the fleet. But he did such a good job, they called him back to do it again. And on that second time, as a recruiter, he was able to come home. Work right here in Eureka. Well, that brings us to 1981. And that also brings us to the birth of the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. The founder of that program, right there, Bob Gooch.
Just in Humboldt County.
Yeah, we're talking about Humboldt County.
Okay.
And you know, I got to tell you something. This is probably the hardest moments of Bob's life because he has to keep quiet. Not easy for him to do. Not easy for him to do. And not a lot of people can keep him quiet. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be successful. Anyway, that program in the past 38 years has delivered toys to over hundreds of thousands of children in a Fort County area. Unbelievable. Incredible program. Why does Bob continue to do it? Well, he continues to do it because he wants to send a message of hope to less fortunate children at Christmas time. He believes that that message, showing them that our community cares about them, will make those kids better. Bob Hope. Bob Hope? Bob Gooch. All right. Anyway, after 23 years of service, Bob leaves the Marine Corps and comes back home. In 1992, he's hired by the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office to serve our community once again as a sheriff, until he retired from that in 2005. For the last 23 plus years, Bob has been in his ranching business, and he finally retired from that, making that his third retirement. Maybe you'll get it right this time. Well, Bob continues to be involved in the Toys for Tots program, and so does, standing by his side, his wife Nancy. Nancy's been married to this lovable physical specimen for the past 45 years, and she's seen him through his Marine Corps tours, his war stories, at times nursing him back to health. But I have to tell you one thing special about Nancy. The Toys for Tots program wouldn't be what it is today without you too, Nancy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bob and Nancy have one daughter, Kelly Cardamone, who surprised her dad today. And it was a special surprise.
Yes. And it
Because
was hard
Bob-
keeping my mouth shut.
Bob's done a lot of good things. He's helped a lot of Marines. But what he's most proud of is you.
Yeah.
So, we honor Bob today. Bob has a Purple Heart with 2 stars. That's 3 Purple Hearts. He has a Navy Commendation Medal with Combat V. He has the Sea Service Deployment Ribbons, multiple Good Conduct Medals, Combat Action Awards, Vietnam Service Awards, and the list goes on. Because that's what you expect from a true hero. If you want to hear more stories about things like charging up a hill with a K-bar knife, you're going to have to buy him a beer. Fellow veterans, community, people, it's my honor today to present to you a slightly older, a hell of a lot heavier, Gunnery Sergeant Robert Gooch. Hoorah!
Here, Pat, and salute. Ready, 2.
Oh, could I start with some words? Daughter is absolutely wonderful. What I'm wearing today kind of represents of what we're all about. The jacket I'm wearing belonged to a Guadalcanal Marine. The T-shirt I'm wearing, and for those that know Marine Corps history, is from a Marine from the Chosin Reservoir in Korea. The walking stick I left out in the car is from a Peleliu survivor, and we just continue to move on. I could sit here and name people that helped me along the lines. Arnie Millsap, I see the captain, and Arnie Millsap just comes to mind, and all this other. I just can just say thank you.
Thank you.